I was not going to upgrade to the 15 Pro this year. I was thinking about it and came close a couple of times in doing so, but I would always just rationalize in my mind why not to upgrade. However, I simply just became so tired with my 14 Pro. There were a couple of reasons for this. Number one, I hated looking at the cracks, scratches, blemishes that I acquired over the last year of use. Number two, the weight. I initially quite liked the heft of it actually, which I stated a bunch of times, made it feel more premium, which is still the case. But honestly, having used the 14 Pro for so long now, I began to get kind of annoyed by just how heavy it was, especially when I compared the 14 and 15 Pro side by side. Then I sort of had this epiphany moment of, wow, the 15 Pro feels so much better in the hand than the 14 Pro. And based off of that, my desire to get the lighter, newer 15 Pro was amplified even more. And number three, the white color. That's it, just simply the white color. I got tired of looking at the white color. So I went completely in the opposite direction and got myself the black titanium 15 Pro. Natural titanium I was also thinking about, but I really just wanted to flip the script completely when it came to iPhone colors this year. And I just didn't like the fact that most other people had the natural titanium. So black titanium it was. And there is not really anything negative you can say about this black color here. Timeless, elegant, minimalistic, stealth. The best way I can describe to you the feeling that this color gives off is the word unbothered. Unbothered in italics too. Now I have to speak on the weight of the 15 Pro. It's interesting how we accept the newest technology as the best, no matter what changes, and this is still the case here. Last year with the 14 Pro, I was all about the heft of the phone. I thought it was the most expensive, the highest quality, the most premium phone at the time, until I held the 15 Pro in my hand for the very first time, and it just felt so much better than the 14 Pro. Not just lighter, but how the weight of the components are distributed in the frame makes it a delight to hold. I know this is sounding pretty silly, but if you are a true tech enthusiast, such as myself, you'll appreciate this. Using the 15 Pro has been quite the delight so far. Not just because it's so much easier to use in the hand now, but also because performance just feels that much more snappier than the 14 Pro. I'm not going to get into chipsets here, but just know everything thrown at this phone is handled pretty well, like extremely well. And I throw quite a bit of photo editing, photo manipulation in the Lightroom app, as well as hefty camera usage with lots of photos and video taking. And it seems to be handling all that really well, so you gotta love that. The ProMotion display is still here and it's as sharp and smooth as ever. The speakers sound actually incredible for just phone speakers. The action button, well, is present, which now it's not really something I use that much. I have it mapped to open the camera, but it's almost muscle memory for me to open the camera from the lock screen at this point. But I do find myself reaching for the action button more and more as I use the phone. So who knows? I think over time, my fingers might just be trained to hold down the action button initially instead of opening the camera from the lock screen. So let me start by saying that I bought the regular Pro, not the Pro Max. So this camera is slightly not worse, but slightly less capable than the Pro Maxes. And I just think that this is such a low, slimy move. I mean, why not just give the smaller Pro iPhone the same camera with the same zoom level and capabilities? Is it a hardware restriction or is it just for profit reasons? Maybe both. I truly wanted to try out that super zoom on the Pro Max, but I cannot bear holding that big of a phone every day. If I could pick one thing that I don't appreciate about this phone is the lack of the same camera that's on the 15 Pro Max. But other than that, the camera is incredible. If you have a 14 Pro, I'd say the 15 Pro's camera is like at most 20 to 30% better. I say that because regular photos with a clear subject can be turned into portrait photos now after taking them on the Pros, which is a really nice feature. The night mode shots just take a little less time to process now, and dynamic range in these photos looks better than ever before. Other than those small points though, there aren't that many other things of note between the 14 and 15 Pro's cameras, at least for the smaller non-max versions. Although the 15 Pro's camera on paper in real life is better, I certainly wouldn't go out and get this phone based off that alone. So what didn't I talk about? USB-C. Who even cares about how you charge your phone, honestly? frankly, I don't use wired charging like really at all now. I just find it so much easier just to use the MagSafe charger once a day, overnight, that is. And battery life on it is pretty good. An average day for me is like 2 or 3 hours, and I don't have to charge it throughout the day. And at night, I'm ending it at like maybe 30%, 30 to 40%, and that's it. Not so much to say. Pretty much the same exact product as last year. That's not a bad thing though, because the 14 Pro was a killer phone. And if you still wanted to get that one, that's not a bad idea either. The 14 Pro now is, you can probably find a brand new one, for maybe 800, 800, and that's a pretty good deal for that quality of phone. But if you want the newest of the newest, then this 15 Pro is definitely the one to get. Great battery, great camera, great performance, and above all, it's an iPhone. So you can absolutely trust it to be a good phone.